to be reminded of the benefits of yoga, the importance of the flexibility and the strength of the spine. That is a major focus of a hatha yoga practice. The other things I'll be talking about are your knees, because I've had knee problems. I know some of you out there have some knee issues, and we're going to address that today because it's important. And then last but not least, we're also going to talk about every week one thing that we can do to strengthen our immune systems, because that's your first line of defense against everything: bacteria, viruses, infections, the whole kit and caboodle. So let's come on to our backs and just stretch yourself out for a moment. Okay, so I know many of us are leading very, very busy lives. I'm sure summer was busy for everyone. I don't know about those lazy, hazy days anymore of summer. I think we're active, which is great. But there's a difference between being active and paying attention and being mindfully active. So yoga is different from most physical activities. So at this place, I want you to inhale through your nose. Notice the movement of the body, and exhale through your mouth. I want you to inhale again through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Turn your palms up in the open and receiving position when you're doing this. It opens and broadens your chest. Inhale one more time through the nose. And you can even make that ha sound. Lovely. Okay, let's draw our knees to the bent position with the soles of the feet on the floor. So when we're talking about helping out our knees, there's certain things we don't want to do, but there are other things that we can do. So we're going to move into a supported bridge position. And the other reason I want to do this is because I want to compress the area of the throat, because if we have any kind of ick, cuck in the throat area, compression helps to squeeze it out. All right, so have your heels lined up with your sits bones. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your knees are also lined up with your sits bones. Now, when you firm up your thighs, your vastus medialis are your inner thigh muscles, and then you have outer thigh muscles. Can you firm those up right off the get-go, and you can feel them to make sure you firm them up? This is one of the ways we protect the knee joint, because the knee itself has no muscles. It depends on strong muscles, tendons, and ligaments to protect it and keep it healthy. Alrighty, so rolling on your sacrum, press the small of your back into the floor and slowly peel your spine off the floor. Now you're also feeling your quadriceps engage. This is also helpful for your muscles. And pressing up, and notice here the compression in the throat area. Yeah. So holding here, breathing through your nose if possible, always, unless you're stuffed up. I've been doing a lot of neti pot, so that's moving warm water through my nostrils because my allergies have been fairly intense. And then starting from the top of your spine, slowly releasing the spine, the lower back and the sacrum onto the floor, and then release the lower back and release these muscles for a moment in the legs, your lateral and your inner thigh muscles, which are all tied in and supportive of your knees. Your hamstrings, your quads also are all supportive. Let's do this again. Your arms are at your side, your palms are flat on the floor, down below or beside your hips. Rolling on your sacrum, press the small of your back into the floor. Pull your belly buttons in towards your spine here. Let's engage the core. Let's maximize all of the benefits we can get just from a supported bridge pose. Setu Bandhasana. Pressing up, lifting up. Holding. The longer we're holding a posture, the more benefits we get. So again, compression here at the throat, strengthening the muscles that support the knees. This is also draining some of the blood that would pool in the base of the spine back up towards the heart. And then starting from the top of your spine, slowly, one vertebra at a time, release your torso back on to the mat and release everything here. You can feel your muscles working. It doesn't seem like we're doing much, but we're breathing, we're focusing, we're paying attention to what we're doing. And let's do this one last time, and we're going to add something to it. Press the small of your back into the floor. Pull your navel towards your spine. Feel your abs engage. Slowly pressing up, lifting. Now, if it's possible, if you don't have shoulder injuries, let's bring the arms underneath the body and interlock your fingers so your knuckles point towards your heels. Now, a little bit of rocking from side to side, because I want you to bring your shoulders as much as possible under your bodies. Now, here's the deal. If your arms are not flat on the floor at this point, just release them and bring them back out to the side of your body. But if they are flat on the floor, you've rocked from side to side, your shoulder blades, the inner edges are kissing, and then we're going to lower the torso back down onto your arms. So this is opening, counteracting the forward flexion and hunching of the shoulders. If you feel your feet want to be a tad closer to your sits bones, your hips, then walk them forward. One more time, lifting up the torso, pressing up into Setu Bandhasana with your arms either under your body or at your sides. And exhale, slowly bring your torso onto your arms. I want to give you as much verbal cueing as possible so you're not having to look over to the screen. And once again, lifting up. Now release your arms. One more thing I want to do here. I want you to notice when you lift one leg at a time up, which side feels stronger. So let's start with the left leg lifting up. Your right hip now, thigh has to support. So just notice the strength and bring it back down. Let's lift the other leg up. Do you notice one side is stronger than the other? I do. My left side's stronger than my right, probably because I've injured the right side more than the left. So notice which one is, and just keep that in mind, and then slowly bring it all the way back down. Yes, let's release the lower back by drawing the knees up in towards the chest. Take your knees as wide apart as you like. You're holding on to the tops of your knees with your fingers pointing down your shins, and do some gentle rocking on your lower back. This is an area that needs special TLC, particularly if we're not paying attention to our posture. Most of the day you will be during the yoga class, but that may only be 1 hour a week. Okay, bring your knees together. Take your arms out to the side, shoulder height. If it feels okay, press your palms towards the floor. If you prefer, you can turn your palms up, whichever one feels best. And you know what? Sometimes it's just good to try it both ways and see what you like. I'm going to turn my palms down. Bring your knees together, your feet together, your thighs together as if they were glued together. And I want you to keep them glued together as much as possible. This is going to work your core. It's also going to stretch out the lower back. So inhaling in place. Exhale, take both knees over to the left. You can turn your head to the right. Please keep that right shoulder and arm on the floor. So you're getting some stretch here through the pectoralis, chest muscles, definitely your shoulder. Again, if you're having shoulder issues, and we'll talk about this in another class, what we want to do is strengthen the muscles to support that joint. Inhale, come back to center. Keep your knees, feet, thighs together. Exhale. Take both knees over to the other side and turn your head to the opposite side. So notice your core engaging. Your knees are probably not on the floor, not yet anyway. And inhale slowly. Bring those knees back to center. The slower you go, the more you engage your core stabilizing muscles. And these are important for everything we do. And on another exhale, let's lower the knees one more time over to the left. And you may notice a little more movement through your lower spine and back by noticing that your knees, which are still together, are closer to the floor. And inhale and slowly bring those knees back to the center. And one more time, over to the other side. Turn your head to the opposite side if you like, keeping your knees together, feet, thighs together. Again, did you get a little bit further this time? I'm willing to bet you did. Inhale, come back to center, and extend the left leg down in front, and let's keep the right knee bent. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below your knee. Make sure your knee is pointing towards the right shoulder so it's just slightly outside, not pressing into the rib cage. You can engage the straight left leg by flexing your foot, so that engages all the muscles. And we're going to work on our ankle joints. We're going to point the foot on the right leg, bent leg, and flex. Point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. And rotate your foot, make circles. This is lubricating the joints of the ankle and foot. And then change the direction. Clearly, this area takes the brunt of a lot of weight. It needs to absorb the shock. Okay, now let's take that right knee with your right hand inside of the knee out to the right side. So we're stretching the inner thigh, inner groin. Be careful if you've injured this area. I think my friend Carolyn may be watching, and she had a bit of an accident, I think falling off her bike. She's also a runner. So that's a tough muscle. You want to keep that inner thigh, that inner adductor muscle, the inner groin. The more muscles are stretched and activated, the less prone they are to injury. Let's bring that right knee back to center, and now place your left hand on the outside of that right knee and take it over across the body to the left side. Extend your right arm out to the side, shoulder height. Now, you're probably going to feel this in possibly your IT band, your iliotibial band along the side of your leg. You might be feeling this in some of your hamstrings, your glutes. Breathe into it. Any area that is clamoring, or you feel like it wants attention, or it's a little bit stiff, cranky, breathe into it. Breathe love into it. We don't have any judgment in our yoga classes. We just have pure, caring awareness. That's it. You just notice, you breathe into it, hold it, see if you can take it just to the edge, not to the point of pain. We're always practicing awareness, respect, and compassion for exactly where we are. Our bodies, as I said many times, are our most valuable possession. Love it, respect it, listen to it. And let's bring that knee back to center. And then let's straighten the leg. But please don't hyperextend the knee. Now, this is going to be really important as we focus on being careful with our knees. Even if you didn't have a sore knee, do not hyperextend it. So you can keep a little bend in the knee here. Some of us are able to straighten our knees. It's great. Do what you can, but reach your hands up towards your ankle. At least have it between the knee and the ankle. And interlock your fingers from behind. Now this is getting into, as was the bent knee, into the ascending colon. So do a little bit of pulling towards you. We're going to inhale in place and exhale. Lift your head up and bring your forehead towards your knee as much as you're able. Don't do too much, don't do too little. Stretching the hamstrings and breathing. Don't hold your breath. Nice compression here on the ascending colon, and then release your hands from your leg. I want you to place your arms down by your side. I want you to lengthen your leg. I want you to engage your core. And as you lengthen the leg, slowly release it back down onto the mat. But slowly, you're using your muscles, hip flexors, quadriceps, and lower abs. Great. One inhale in place. And on your exhale, let's draw the other knee up. Interlock your fingers. So this should be your left knee now. But if you made a boo-boo, just do the other side. And again, you're interlocking your fingers 2 inches below the kneecap. The knee is pointing towards your left shoulder and you're pressing down. So this now gets into your descending colon. All right, let's now point the foot, flex it, point, flex, point, and flex. Rotate in any direction, lubricating. 1/4 of the bones in your body of the 206 are located in the ankle and the foot. And then change the direction. Nice. Okay. Place your left hand inside of your left knee. Take the other arm out to the side and press that knee open. So you're trying to keep your upper part of your leg, your thigh, perpendicular to your body. Remember, if you flex the foot of the straight leg, you're keeping that leg active. Try not to lift the opposite butt cheek off the floor. So feel the stretch in the inner thigh, inner adductor muscle. Breathe. And then inhale, bring that knee back to center. And now bring your right hand onto the outside of your left bent knee. Extend your left arm out to the side. Roll over onto your right hip. And keep some pressure on your left bent leg to stretch out your IT band, your hip, your glutes. Those would be your buttocks. Breathe into it. I'm feeling it. Just breathe into it. Keep a little bit of pressure, not too much, not too little. You want to feel something here. Some of you may have your knees on the floor. Maybe you've been practicing a lot this summer. And whatever you've been doing is in the past now. We're in this present moment, honoring, caring for, and listening to our bodies. So breathe, let your belly expand. I started to read an exceptional book on the breath this summer. Most of us are not breathing well. And of course, let's face it, the breath is the key to life. Without it, we're dead. Well, we call it dead. We're just going to be in another form. Okay. Let's draw that knee back to center, and one more time, bring it in towards your chest, and then lengthen the leg. You might notice a difference from one side to the other. And again, you're going to interlock your fingers or wrap your hands around your ankle or your calf, but make sure it is below the knee. Okay? Don't hyperextend, but straighten the leg as much as you can. And let's pull it a little bit towards us, keeping the head on the floor. Feeling your hamstrings. Those are the muscles in the backs of your legs. And again, they insert into the knee, but they don't have the same impact on protecting your knee as do your vastus muscles, which are inside and on the outside of your leg. Inhale, in place. Exhale, draw the leg towards you as you lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. And breathe. Some of us will have very tight hamstrings. These puppies take a long time to loosen, so be patient. In fact, I find that knee and shoulder injuries also take a very long time to heal. In spite of our efforts, it takes time. So patience is required. And then release that leg. Bring your arms beside your body. Straighten the leg, lengthen that leg, and then slowly lower the leg back down as you engage your quadriceps, your hip flexors, and your lower abs. Okay, turn your palms up in the open and receiving position. Lift your shoulder blades up, tuck them under your heart. And let's once again take 3 deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose. And you can exhale through the nose or through the mouth, and you can even Again, inhale. And exhale. Count this inhale. Doesn't matter, just count it to yourself, how long you count. On the exhale, I want you to count it and make it longer than whatever your count was for your inhale. This will go a long way to jump-starting your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest calming aspect. Okay, bend your knees. Let's bring the knees up towards the chest. Place your hands underneath the backs of your knees, and let's rock up to a seated position. Wow. All those chemicals up in my head are circulating throughout my body. Now, if you have issues with your knees, we're going to do cat-cow because the spine loves the warm-up of the cat-cow position. But if your knees are sore, please then put something underneath it, whether it's another yoga mat or cushions. And then when your arms are underneath your shoulders, this is ideal that your shoulders are lining up with your wrists. However, if you find that your wrists hurt, you can either take your arms further forward or you can come onto your knuckles, okay? So make sure you take care. Also too, when your hands are on the floor with the fingers spread wide apart and the middle fingers pointing forward, a little tip, if we're in downward facing dog, is to make sure the wrinkles in your wrists are lining up with the front of your mat. Okay, then you know that your alignment is good. And then you want your knees underneath your hips and the tops of your feet resting on the mat. Okay, let's exhale, dropping the tailbone, pulling the navel up in towards the spine as you round it and tuck your chin in towards your chest a lot. On an inhale, if you can, curl your toes under. Now that may put extra pressure on knees, so you can keep your feet flat. And then hollow out your lower back, gently lift your tail and your head, and your eyes are either open or closed, but they're looking up towards your third eye, Ajna Chakra. Exhale, round your spine, pull your belly in, drop your tail, tuck your chin. Inhale, curl the toes under. Hollow out the lower back, lift your tail, lift your head, eyes up towards Ajna. Exhale, round your spine into cat pose. I know some of you have pets, and they're probably studying you right now, watching you, and then hollow out your lower back, although some of them like to crawl underneath you when you're in this position. And this is something they do without thinking about it. This is why they never have sore backs. Last time, hollow out your lower back as you exhale. Round your upper back, rounding it. Tuck your chin in a lot. And last time, hollow out the lower back, curling the toes under if it feels okay. And coming back to neutral. Let's do a little bit of strengthening here. Lift your knee, curl your toes under, lift your knees off the mat, just hovering above the mat. Here's where you want to engage your core. So we're getting some shoulder work today. We're going to do half sun salutations today, not the full sun salutations. I really want to gently reintroduce you to your yoga practice and have you just feeling a great sense of calm, a lovely flow of steady energy for the rest of your day. Lovely. Lift your hips up, come into a soft dog, and just walk it, which means straighten one leg, feel the stretch in the back of the leg, back of the knee, especially the calf, the Achilles tendon, and then change. Straightening the other leg and bending the opposite. Feel the stretch. At this time, please give your head a little bit of movement from side to side so you're not holding your neck or your head in an awkward. One more time, change. And last time, change. Great. And now walk your feet towards your hands. Keep your knees bent, please. And then let your torso rest. And just make your hands comfortable on the mat. Give your head a swing. Your knees are bent. Your torso's resting on your thighs. This is considered an inversion, so we're getting extra blood flow above the heart. Breathing. And press the soles of your feet into the floor. Please keep your neck relaxed and let your head hang, let your arms hang. We're going to slowly roll up from our Raggedy Ann doll position. Keep your chin tucked into your chest and slowly stacking one vertebra on top of the next. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Right. Woof. Okay. Alrighty. So now we're going to do our half sun salutations. So I want you to have your feet about one fist width apart. The outsides of your feet should be parallel with the outsides of your mat. Now, most of us aren't in too many lineups these days, but if you are, please keep this in mind that when you're standing, we're going to have this posture called Tadasana, mountain pose. So mountains, of course, are very grounded, strong in their positions, and they don't move, of course. Alrighty, so once you have your feet in this position, I want you to lift your toes off the floor. By doing this, you notice that you should be pressing or feeling your big toe mount on the mat. Now, a lot of us supinate. We roll in and we collapse the arches. That just doesn't hurt the arches. It hurts the knees. It hurts the inner thighs and the hips. So this is very important to make sure that your baby toe mounts are also connecting with the mat. And when you press your baby toe mounts, you do engage your thigh and your IT band. So another win. And then press the center front of the back heel into the floor. So what you have now is like a triangle. I haven't got the bottom closed there, but you have a triangle on your feet. Close your eyes so you can really feel that you are pressing all of your toe mounts, but particularly the baby toe mount, big toe mount, center front of your heel. Toes have been off the floor, but gently lay them back down on the floor. So toes are mostly a lot for proprioception. They understand the connection to the floor, but the real grounding and the strength is going to come from those 3 points. Now, engage your thigh muscles by lifting up on your kneecaps. So now you're going to feel quadriceps engaged. Okay. Lift your sternum. This is a big one, guys. We collapse a lot during the day, whether we're sitting at a table or we're watching something on a computer, on TV. This one's big. Lift your sternum away from your pelvic floor. Feel the difference. Feel the difference in what that feels like. You've opened up the front of your body. All of these organs, glands now have room and space to do their thing. Okay, so we're nice and open here. And you'll also notice how it helps bring that curve back into the lumbar spine, because this is another area that becomes a source of pain for so many people. Why? When you're collapsed, this flattens. When you open, you've got this back. All right. So now shoulders up towards your ears, press them back, bringing the shoulder blades together, and then bring your arms beside your body. Now, turn your palms out. This helps to externally rotate your shoulders. You don't need to leave your palms out because now your shoulders are externally rotated. You can just let them hang loose by your side. And then let your chin float parallel to the floor, and let the crown of your head float upwards, and feel strong, feel grounded and centered in Tadasana. So somebody may think, oh, she's just standing there like a soldier, she or he. Well, there's a lot going on here. So breathe. So we're going to do sun salutations. If you're not sure what this is, have a look and just watch one, or carefully follow my verbal cues. So inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, stretching. Now turn the palms out, bend your knees a lot, sink your hips down, swan dive your torso onto your thighs, tent your fingers on the floor, just outside of and in front of your toes. At this point, your head may be looking up or it may be cranked. As you straighten your legs, whatever amount you can, please let your head hang. Feel the stretch in the backs of your legs, whatever amount. Breathing here, we're back into another inversion where the head is lower than the heart. Normally the head is above the heart, not getting the blood supply. All right, let's bend the knees, drop your hips, come into a tuck position, keep your fingertips on the floor, press your shoulders back, and at this time, inhale, slowly coming back up, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead. Exhale, float the arms down, taking up lots of space. I'm going to turn sideways. Inhale, you don't have to turn sideways, just in case you're watching. Exhale, swan dive slowly, bringing your fingertips tented on the mat just outside of your toes. Inhale, lift your hips, shine your tailbone up. Please let the crown of your head float down towards the floor. We want you also to think about letting the spine release. The spine gets contracted, gets compressed. Those gelatinous discs get flattened. And when bone hits bone, you know what happens. It doesn't feel good. So we're giving these gelatinous discs some space here. And then on an exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, keep your fingertips on the floor, press your shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, float the arms down, taking up lots of space. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, all the air out. Tent your fingers. Inhale. Feel the stretch in the back of your legs. Let your neck release. Exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips. Shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, up and overhead. Exhale, float the arms down, taking up lots of space. Inhale. Exhale. You're in the tuck. Inhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, let your head hang. Exhale, drop the hips, bend the knees. You're in a tuck, shoulders back. Inhale, sweeping up. Bring your palms together. Exhale, keep your palms together and bring them down in front in Anjali Mudra. And while we're here, let's try to lift the elbows, giving a little bit of shrift to those carpal tunnel, or at least the tendons in the wrists that are always like this. We're reversing to this. Okay, great. So we're going to do a couple of standing postures now. And again, these are very safe for your knees. We're going to do triangle pose, and then we're going to try and do a little bit of a balance pose in half moon. Now, here's the deal. If you have a block or a chair, place that at the front of your mat on one side, okay? But we'll start with Trikonasana, triangle pose, and we will work our way towards crescent moon, Ardha Chandrasana. If you have a chair handy or a footstool, just bring that towards the front of the mat on the side that you're going to work on, and we'll go for that. Okay, so let's step the feet wide apart, about one leg length apart, and then turn your front, well, mine's going to be my right foot. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and then I'm going to take the heel of the back foot and angle it back. So in Trikonasana, if you're feeling, I was just feeling a little bit of a cramp in my front calf, so I just released it by bending my knee. So let's inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. Trikonasana, triangle pose. I don't want you to overreach on this, but here's how we're going to go. You're going to reach with your front right arm over your front toes. That means your back left hip is going to go back as you reach. Now, when you can't reach any further, that's when you hinge and bring this arm inside of your leg. You're going to feel your inner thigh adductor muscle working, and reach the other arm straight up. Now, if I were between two panes of glass, or if you were, both of your shoulders should be touching. Some people like to really go for it and do one of these things. They've lost the integrity of the posture. You might be able to get your fingers down to the floor and not lose the integrity, or you may wish to bring that book or that block and support yourself here. So opening up the chest to the front of the room. I'm going to remove the block because I want the energy to go up. Don't want you to support by pressing down into the block if you're holding it. Now, lower your top arm. This is where you may want the support. You're going to bend your front knee. You're going to place the block or the stool or whatever you have in front of you, or perhaps nothing. You're going to walk that back leg forward. I prefer nothing. I started learning with nothing, so I'm going to stay with that, but there's options. And I'm going to slowly lift my back leg up. So this is all should be really safe and strengthening the muscles that we need to protect the health and safety of the knee. So you've lift your back leg up, lift that arm, the other arm up, top arm. And then if you want to try to float here, lift the bottom arm off the floor too. Focus the gaze, don't do too much, don't do too little. We're going to transition back into Trikonasana. So bend the front knee, step that back leg back, come back into Trikonasana. Inhale. Come on, all the way up. Yay. Okay, turn your feet so they're now pointing forward but slightly out. We're going to forward bend. And we're going to bring fingertips to the floor. So the wider your feet are apart, the easier and closer you can get to the floor. Once again, feel the stretch in the inner adductor thighs. Come on, halfway up. And then exhale and slowly come down, releasing the crown of your head towards the floor, maybe your elbows and forearms. Please don't do too much. See where you're at. Again, if your feet are wider apart, and if you're not feeling that your mat is really sticky, I've mentioned this before in classes. I have had so many mats in my more than 3 decades of yoga. The B mat. So just the letter B as in Bob, the B mat. They're available at Afterglow Studio in the beach here, or you can order them online, but I find them great. And they have the extra long mat as well. And when you think about cost per use, it ends up to be very, very little. Okay, so now place your hands on the floor. I want you to walk your feet back in towards one another. Wider than your hips though, probably about 2.5 feet apart, 2 to 2.5 feet. And then bring the upper body up. Come on into goddess pose. So toes are turned out, goddess pose. Sink your butt. And keep your shoulders over your hips as much as possible. Inhale, come on all the way up. And then bring your feet together. Chair pose. Okay, we'll be doing the other side in a moment. Chair pose, again, really strengthens these muscles to support the knee. All right, so we all know about chair pose, or we're going to learn about it, Utkatasana. So once again, your feet are going to be almost together, but outsides of your feet parallel. When the outsides of your feet are parallel, it means your toes will be closer together than your heels will be. So look down, make sure that there's more space between your heels than your toes, then you're in good alignment. Alrighty, so in chair pose, it's like what it sounds, or horseman's pose, there's lots of names. It's like you're sitting in a chair. It's like you're sitting in a chair. So the weight is going to go into your heels, more weight in your heels, and I want you to look down. You should be able to see your toes in front of your knees. If your knees are in front of your toes, you don't have your weight into your butt. All right. And then arms, you have the option of placing arms shoulder height. Keep your shoulders down, or you can bring them right up, palms facing one another. So there's your option. Palms down, palms facing one another, and sink that butt. Sink that butt. Inhale, come on all the way up. Exhale, take your hands down. Give your legs a shake out. That feel good? Okay. So if you have something, you can either do it on the other side and turn your back to me. I won't be offended, but I'm going to move my block and take it over to the other side. And I want to make sure I get chair. Okay. So let's once again take our legs wide apart. We're going to do Trikonasana and Ardha Chandrasana on the other side. All right, so turn your left foot 90 degrees forward, or just the opposite of what you're having, and then take the heel of the back foot back a little bit so that your back foot now is pointing about 40 degrees forward, something like that, maybe even 60 degrees. Okay, and again, if I said, if you have a little cramp in the calf, just bend the knee for a moment and release it. Now, basically too, in Trikonasana, I didn't say this before, you want the heel of the front foot to create an invisible line through the arch of your back foot. Okay, and your legs are going to be straight, and you need one leg length apart. You should be really like, about 3 feet apart. All right, inhale and sweep the arms up to shoulder height, but lower the shoulders down so your neck stays long. And keep your neck nice and long. Now, you're reaching over your front toes. You're not reaching down, you're just reaching forward. Reach forward, forward, forward. That's down, tech guy. Reach forward. Okay, now you can't reach any further forward. Now you hinge and let your front arm fall inside of your front leg, and you reach that top arm up. The energy is up, and the palm faces the same direction as your nose. Your top palm, yep, and your bottom too. Open it up. You got it. So palms are facing the same direction as your face. Now, to further engage your thigh muscles, remember to lift up on those kneecaps. Lift up on the kneecaps. That engages the thighs. Now, bend that front knee and walk your back foot forward. This is where, once again, you may wish to use a support, and it can be as high as you like. I'm going to just tent my fingers on the floor. I'm going to slowly lift my back leg up and straighten the standing leg. Now, obviously, this is big work on that standing leg. So if you need to come out sooner, do it. And then lift that top arm up. And then if you think you can, float the bottom arm. Take it off the floor. Focus your gaze. And then let's come back, bend that front leg, step your back leg back. Come on back into Trikonasana. You're reaching up and stretching up. Your top shoulder is directly above your bottom shoulder. Inhale, come on up. Turn your feet towards one another. Walk your feet in. Once again, let's take our goddess pose. Strengthen. So you're sinking your hips, working thighs, protecting knees. Inhale, come on all the way up. Exhale, lower your arms. Let's do one more chair posture. Then we'll give our thighs a break. Come back down onto the floor. All right, so remember, feet, some people will tell you to keep your toes together. I like them just slightly apart for chair pose, Utkatasana. Heels wider than your feet. Okay, so once again, maybe I'll turn sideways here. You're going to bend your knees. You want to be able to see your toes, so your weight is in your heels. Can feel a little awkward. You can feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to fall backwards. Well, we don't want you to do that. Bring the arms either out front, palms facing down, or lift them up. Have a look down at your toes. Exhale, forward fold here. Release your lower back. Let your head hang. Give it a little swing. Okay, I want you to bend your knees now. Bring your left elbow outside of your right knee. Left elbow. Bring the other hand on top. So your elbows outside your knees. Feet should be closer together. Feet are closer together. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Twisting. And releasing. Just let your torso hang with your knees slightly bent. Feel your belly on your thighs. Breathe, and then let's take the right elbow. I'll turn around here. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Open the palm, sideways prayer, and twisting. Lovely. Release, bend the knees. Come on back down onto the floor. And lie down. Now, If you wish, you can bring your knees up in towards your chest here because your lower back got some work. And one hand on each knee. If you want to, make circles on your back, or just gently rocking from side to side, or hug your knees, wrapping your arms around your knees, and give some compression here to your transverse colon. So that's what joins your ascending on the right to your descending on the left. I'm going to be getting into gut permeability in a couple of weeks too. Some of you know about Dr. Zach Bush. I recently listened to his talk on the importance of this and staying healthy. And as a nutritionist, I'm aware of it, but I love the way he spoke. It's quite a long, it's called The Rebirth of Humanity. If you want to Google this, it's long. So either take yourself for a walk and listen to it, or do something somewhat mindless if you're chopping up onions or kale or kohlrabi, which I just had for the first time on the weekend. You can listen to something like this. It's pretty riveting and it's very positive as well. All righty. So once again, let's bring the hands underneath the backs of the knees and rock up to a seated position. Bring your legs out in front and spread them wide apart. Prasarita Padottanasana. So if the legs are just straight in front, we're Padottanasana, but we're going to do this. It's easier on the knees. And then lift yourself up from behind so you feel yourself really perched on top of those sits bones as much as possible. Now, some of us have difficulty sitting up straight. Our hips are tight. We're just not used to it. So this might be work in itself, and you might be feeling that. Do your best to sit up as tall as you can on your sits bones. If needed and necessary, I do love this piece. I talked about it last year. I don't really want to become a wholesaler, but it's a runa. I find this to be one of the most useful props I have ever had in my 30 years. For meditation, you can sit on top of it just like this, and you get all that lift. But if you need an extra support on your seat, chair, and we'll talk about this another week because there's too many things that I still want to cover. Okay, so legs are straight out in front. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Just stay here for a moment. Reaching up, feel your sits bones, your ischial tuberosities pressing into the floor as much as you can. So this is going to take incredible core strength to sit up straight, because most of us are used to just, okay? But you're honoring the curves in your lower back, reaching your arms up, 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 up. Reach up. Now exhale. Now stretch forward. You're not just bending, you're stretching and lengthening forward. And just stay here halfway. One more time. Inhale, reach and stretch. Was it Emerson who said, let your reach exceed your grasp? Exhale, forward fold. Now arms, hands can be right in the center, or if it's possible and you want to, maybe you can take your peace fingers and grab your big toes. Or maybe you want to grab your ankles. Whatever's available, whatever feels good. So let's come back up again. Inhale and exhale. Whatever amount, it doesn't matter if it's a quarter inch, an inch, whatever is accessible. You can even grab the outsides of your feet. So of course, you're going to feel this stretch in the lower back. You'll be feeling it in your hamstrings. So breathe into the area that you are working. Bring your hands back in the front and walk them back towards you. Bring your legs together and shake out the backs of your knees. Okay, let's do one more twist position. Twist positions, of course, are like wringing out the face cloth. And in this case, you're relieving and squeezing out toxins in your intestinal, abdominal, all this area. All right, so bend your leg. Now, for those of you who may not want to take your foot across the knee, you can always keep the foot on the floor inside your knee. If it feels okay to place the foot outside of the knee, go for it. Okay, so whatever side you're choosing, we'll do the other side afterwards. I have my, if I want to talk about the mirror image, then I have, so you'll do what I'm telling you to do, is that your left foot will be outside of your right knee, left foot outside of right knee, or left foot inside of right knee. And then interlock your fingers around your left knee and pull your torso towards your thigh. Feel your sits bones pressing into the mat. Flex the foot of the straight leg. And now take your left arm up and place it behind you. Right arm up. Two options here. You can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee to support the twist, or you can wrap the inner part of the elbow around the knee to achieve the twist and purge. So I like my elbow outside of my knee. And I take a hand mudra, another topic for discussion this session. Inhale to lengthen, straighten your spine. Exhale to twist, turn, and release. Looking behind you, eyes opened or closed. Ce ne fait rien. It doesn't matter. Your choice. But breathing isn't a choice. Breathing is important. So we're squeezing, rinsing toxins. It's important to drink fluids after a yoga class, please, because you want to flush that waste out. One more inhalation, reaching up. Exhale, release, and twist to the other side, and come back to the center. And let's change. So you're going to place now the right foot either inside the left knee or on the floor outside. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below, and then take your right hand behind you. That's your prop to prop you up. Inhale, the other arm up, reach and stretch. Exhale, either bring the arm around the knee or the elbow outside of the knee. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist and turn as much as you're able. So this is purging. All twists, all compression, give the body assistance to remove toxins and waste. This is really important. If we never took the garbage out at home, I'll stop there. If you never take the garbage out in your body, or you don't really keep things clean, well, we know what happens. You get bugs inside your body, you get bugs in your house, don't want them. So one more inhalation to lengthen the torso, reach the crown up, exhale, release, counter twist, and then come on down on your backs for Shavasana, please. Couple of tips here that I found useful, and then I'm going to chat to you a bit, and I want you to stay in Shavasana as long as you can. But here's an option. If you have a block or a rolled up mat in your Shavasana position, place these or the mat right up against the buttocks and rest your thighs, backs of your thighs, on the blocks. Check this out. And you know what? If you don't have anything handy, that is not a problem. Doesn't matter. Bring your heels together. Let your feet splay out. Lift your shoulder blades up from under your chest and just tuck them under your heart center. Arms are at the side with your palms floating up. And then close your eyes if they're not already closed. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. And quickly, I want to mention to you one of your best forms of immune support will be zinc supplements. Now, you can get it in food, meat, poultry, shellfish, oysters, seeds, nuts, dairy, but the vast majority of Canadians are zinc deficient. And the latest tells us that lozenges are the best because it slowly releases its potential into your mouth, and then it can be transported into your nasal passages where viruses hang out. We talked about this last session, talked about humming. I honestly, probably this session now that I'm moved, even though I'm still not completely unpacked and settled, but I want to offer more to you that you can go to as a resource. But every week I'm going to give you a tip on immunity. So zinc lozenges, better than swallowing the pills. If you buy the little pills, don't swallow them. And truly, somewhere between 8 and 11 milligrams is the recommended daily allowance, the RDA, and it doesn't stay in your body. You need it every day. So if you can find those zinc lozenges, especially for kids too, they tend to like to suck on things. So it works that way as well. So your eyes are closed. Continue to separate the surfaces of the biting teeth. Zinc also not only useful for supporting any kind of viral infection, not supporting, pardon me, that's the wrong word, but colds, age-related macular degeneration. Now, the eyeballs and the prostate are the two organs that require good amounts of zinc. But right now, with the coronavirus, it's a very useful supplement to be taking every single day. All right. So please consider that if you're not already. And finally, as you're relaxing, just a couple of words from Swami Shivananda is the teacher that I bow to first in my practice. Your body is as young and flexible as its spine. We all know that the body is both catabolic and anabolic. So for the first part of our life, we're building the body. It's anabolically working, but it doesn't take long before it becomes catabolic, which is things breaking down. And they talk about that actually happening around the age of 35. It's like, are you kidding me? I should be dead then. But the reality is that the system of yoga that I'm sharing with you is one that activates your, I want to make sure I got that right, that I didn't say the, because we don't usually use, the anabolic, which is the youthfulness of our bodies. This type of yoga I'm sharing with you is the type that rebuilds your body and the systems, the glands, the organs of your body. So that, as I said in a note, I don't talk about chronological age. It means nothing to me. What matters to me is my energy, my ability to function and feel positive and sleep like a baby at night. And that's what I want for all of you. So thank you once again for joining me in this practice of taking care of our most valuable possession. Namaste.